everybody. Welcome back to another edition, another episode of our interviews with Bella women, Latina business owners in our community. And I'm so excited to welcome Rosemary Barrientos from Amar Candles.
Hi,
Welcome.
everyone. Welcome.
Hello. I'm so
Thank you for
excited.
having me.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure. I'm so excited to have this time with you to just get to know you a little bit more. We always like to the reason why we have these interviews is we want to elevate the story of Latina women in our communities, but we also want to like humanize the business. We want to kind of go behind the scenes, if you will, and just get to know you a little more because a lot of times we see the face of the business and we don't know what goes on, like how you got there, or we don't know like who the person is, right? And what we want to be able to connect people to the person and just how wonderful and amazing you are so that folks can get inspired. So, thank you for being on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to share a little bit more of my story and of Mark and the Coast story as well.
Amazing. Well, we're just going to get started, and we do always want to kind of just open it up and ask you to just kind of tell us a little bit about you. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you want people to know about you and your business?
Okay, awesome. Well, my name is Rosemary. I am an American Salvadorian. I am 32. I am born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I'm a pet mama of two beautiful kittens. And what I would love everyone to know about me and my candle business is essentially Amar translates to love, and it also means to it means like to live a long life. It means everlasting. And what's more everlasting than a candle? But I also feel like candles are a really big part of our culture as well. Um, but what I want to share about Amar is that we are environmentally friendly. We also refill the candles that we do sell. I think for myself, growing up as a Salvadorian, my mom reused everything. I'm sure that you guys one of you could relate. I'm sure if you're back home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We have like the mantequilla jar as the holder for the soap. She just kind of reused everything because we didn't have the a lot growing up. We had the minimal basics, and that was beautiful. And Christmas was so special, but you don't realize how special all of these things are until you grow up. And you realize that it's your parents making everything be special. They're the ones with the magic. And I wanted to create something and a business that represented myself and my culture, and a lot of it is about reusing and not adding to your carbon footprint, which is huge because we are living in a really tough place now. We're trying our best not to contribute to the landfills. We're trying to remove that excessive waste, for lack of better words, I guess you can say. I think it's important, even in the small things that we do on our daily lives. And it just so 95% of women are the ones who buy candles. It's like scientifically proven. Women love candles, and I think we love them. Personally, myself, I know I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry. I had gotten asthma during COVID. That's how my business started, you guys. I got an asthma for COVID, and just like everyone else, I was at home and I wanted to do something to better my lifestyle. I had to completely change my lifestyle. Getting asthma meant that I had to make changes in my life, and making changes in life is sometimes can be very difficult.
Yeah.
We're really accustomed to living a certain way, and we're so grateful. I mean, we are so lucky to have everything that we have. You know what I mean? And candles can also be seen as a luxury, but as a necessity as well for others for many reasons. We could get into that a little bit later. How scents sense affect our thoughts and our feelings as well. So it just kind of gets like, I feel like it's just a little bit of everything that I've experienced in life in these 32 beautiful years of life, all these beautiful lessons that I've been taught. And I feel like everything was just preparing me for me to start my own business. Um, because I want to be the next Bath and Body Works Latina version.
Mhm.
And the best words that I can say it. I want to be able to have a company that also adds to employment around us, but paying, a good wage and just giving benefits, just a living wage and giving benefits to others that know that need it and deserve it. We Amar Candle Co. is just I'm and Rosemary. I'm a big ball of love, and I love to see others happy. It's one way or another. I like to make people's lives better. I want to add to people's days, and what better way than by lighting a candle? That was
Yeah.
pretty long. I'm sorry.
No, I love that. I feel like people are going to feel, who are listening to this right now, your energy and your passion for not just the candle and creating the candle and selling the candle, but like what it represents. And I feel like that is very common of Latina women entrepreneurs, is that yes, the business sometimes is because of a need, but you fill that need by using your passion to create whatever that business is going to be, right? That fuels you, like mind, body, and soul. And then obviously, like for like revenue, because you're also doing a business because you're wanting to generate revenue, right? So I feel that with your introduction, like it's very potent and very obvious that like you pour yourself into your business. And I don't mean actual physical part of like doing it, which is also a big deal, but like
Mhm.
just your energy and your purpose, like it's really funneling through like it's so like it's really great, because I think that's who and what we want to support. I think our communities are very tight knit. We love to see each other grow. We want to support each other. I mean, we know that like this economy is built on small businesses. We hear that all the time, right? You drive down our neighborhoods and that's what you see too, like brick and mortars. You see businesses. And a lot of the online businesses and the ones that do pop-ups are growing too. We see a lot of the folks that look like us that are doing these businesses, and I think that it's flourishing for a reason. And you just so clearly like illustrated personally what I think that is because of that energy and that passion. So I want to take it back a little bit because you mentioned something around that I thought was really like it like created this little like tinkle in my brain about a memory, right? And I think the way that you talked about it when you were like, we used to keep like, these cans or these like bottles to like store, so like we would reuse it, right? And when you said that, it triggered like it brought me back to my niñez. I was just like, oh, I was thinking like the jam jar, like my mom would put like herbs in there. Like you would like reach for the cabinet and you'd be like, oh, this is like chocomil, and you'd open it as like a bag of tea bags or something, like just so random.
Canela.
You're like, I should have known. And so when you say that, like, I think it kind of brings us back to our ancestral roots because we think about, like, in terms of like reusing, recycling, like, we hear a lot about that now because of like climate change. And we're like, but our ancestors have been doing that. And even like our abuelitas and our mothers have been doing the recycling and the like reusing really through generations. So I say that as kind of like a primer to ask you to kind of take me back to your childhood, right? Take us all back to your childhood a little bit and tell us a little bit about La Niña Chiquita Rosemary when you were growing up, and tell us like walk us through that path, like as a little kid, as growing up into a teen, like share with us a little bit about your background.
Oh, my background. Welcome to my personal all my life, you guys. I'm so happy to share this part of me too. I grew up I grew up in Maywood, California. Um, and we lived like in a small little like apartment, 1 bedroom. I have 6 brothers and sisters. Side quote, everyone. Let me
How
just
fun.
like picture that. A 1 bedroom apartment. It was crowded. It
Yeah.
was crowded. Baby Rose did not have room to shine.
Mm,
My parents, I've never met my real father, but my stepdad, he wasn't he left, whatever. It's okay, guys. I've grown.
mhm,
I've healed. Um, but my household was basically raised by my mom by herself, single mother household. And it was difficult to see my mom go through so much. And I feel like I get a lot of my like entrepreneurship from her, because I'll give it up to my mom. You guys, this is all credit due to my mom. Like, I know you guys can relate. My mom was selling Avon, Tupperware, Royal Prestige, Cristal, you name it. Ella
mhm.
lo vendía because she wanted to make an income for us, you guys, so that she can feed us. And I think that's so beautiful. Like, I didn't realize it then, right? Growing up, like, it's not like I saw that. I was just like, my mom's just, you know, doing something, or
Yeah.
whatever. I couldn't comprehend it. But now that I look back at it, baby Rose was seeing her mom be an entrepreneur as well. That
Yeah.
I felt like that took so much courage of her. And that she had to network too. But networking was different back then.
Mhm.
They would knock on each other's doors, and like se presentaban. And I think that's what we also see similar now, Baby Rose, and what I see now is we have to network. We
Yeah.
have to we have to find our people. And just like way my mom was finding her people to, bring some income, whether it was one way or another. I feel like I get that from her. I get that strong woman version of my
Mhm.
mom, that entrepreneur version of like selling,
Yeah.
always trying to make it happen for us. And all that magic that she put into, all that hard work that she put into just wanting to be a great mom, and putting food on the table, and making sure that we had a roof over our heads. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's such a hard job itself. And Baby Rose just always wants to see people happy. Baby Rose is really happy all the time. I love, 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 love to laugh, you guys. I try to laugh, um because I feel like we can dwell on the negative. And you have gone through so much, you guys. And I'm very thankful to starting on Mark Candle Co, because I have met so many other entrepreneurial Latinas that like give me life. And like, I'll say this often, there's times where my heart feels like full. Like, there's
Mhm.
those times where, I'm gonna give you an example. I left Beas this on Friday when we had gone.
Mhm.
And I leave like so inspired. Like, then you meet these people, like, you hear their stories, you hear other people's backgrounds. And we have something all that's very common. We've all gone through struggles,
Yeah.
and I love that we're so like, we're perceiving through, we're striving throughout, like, we're believing in ourselves. And Baby Rose didn't believe in herself. Baby Rose was very shy, and still a big ball of love, but she was very shy. And I think growing up, I grew a harder shell. um and with Baby Rose did have to go to therapy, but I think therapy has helped me significantly as well, in healing. And even that actually ties in on how Amar Kandako actually started too, which is kind of silly. But um I had started to go to therapy, and my therapist was like, well, what if you create something? What if, you
Mm.
start using your hands a little bit more for other things? And so, I got asthma. Then I was like, okay, let me make candles. And one thing led to another, and Mark Chemical was born. But Baby Rose just is wants to be helpful. I want to be helpful. And I feel like there's I meet so many Latinas that don't know that there's a network of women that are just like them, that have they have similar goals, and I think we could just all learn from each other. And baby Rose, at least still me, I just I want to help others. I want my I want Rosemary to give back to the community. I saw the needs. I see the needs now of what, school still needs, and I just want to be helpful. Um, and yeah, that's basically who I am. I just want to contribute to the world overall.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're spot on with your mom and seeing your mom. She probably didn't know at the time that she was making an impact in like you 10, 20 years from that point, right?
Hmm.
And that I really feel like the entrepreneurial spirit is part like infused in our DNA because of
Hmm.
that reason. Even though maybe that's not what she called it, like maybe she didn't, I don't know, maybe she did, but like a business or she was an entrepreneur, like that is who she was, right? Like she was finding ways to use her talents and her skills, whether it was to like good at talking to people or good at finding the resources or good with the sales pitch, like whatever her talents were, she was using those gifts to help her, have these different businesses so that she can continue to support and provide for her family. And so I love to hear how like that experience kind of became your own in your own way, right? It
Hmm.
kind of evolved, like you took that in, you kind of grew with it, you sat with it for a little bit, and then like you blossomed. And when it came time for you to kind of think of those ways, like you said, your therapist had made suggestions that you almost already knew what you were going to do, right? Like maybe like they helped you get there, but like at the end of the day, I think like that was already part of who you were. Like you were ready, at least mentally kind of prepared, like, okay, like, yeah, I know which way I'm going to go with this, And so I think that's great because a lot of people can relate to that and your story and even, attending therapy or living in a single family household. Like there's a lot of commonalities that we hear with the backgrounds and we don't share those enough. And I don't think we focus on those enough. And when we do, to your point, something really beautiful happens because we see each other as like friends and supporters and we feel part of that tight knit community and we know that's like what we need to like lift our spirits and lift ourselves lift each other up, and so you told us a little bit about kind of how the concept was born, with the candles specifically. Is there somebody that like really inspired you to specifically like for the candles? Was it something that you just felt like, okay, I know this is the specific business I'm going to do, or like who kind of guided you through that revelation or that process of like, okay, I'm gonna do it? Because it's one thing to think about it, and it's one thing to actually like create that first candle, or maybe like, I don't know, like whatever first step you took.
Hmm. I want to give all credit to my friend. Maybe a couple of my friends close around me has started like building their businesses, and I kind of had to sit there and like it's kind of like a revelation, like a woohoo moment, like a light bulb kind of just goes off. Influenced definitely by my mom.
Mhm. Mhm.
By my mom, because she would come over and see like the leftover jars that I had for candles. And she'll be like, porque los like she'll be like, why are you holding on to it? Like why are you saving these? Like what are you saving these for? Right. And I was like, because I'm gonna make them again. And this was like not 5 years ago. This was probably like 15 years ago. Like
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna do it. And I wouldn't, obviously, because it wasn't producing. I don't
Yeah.
Nothing drove me to it. But during the pandemic, things got really, what like pushed it over the edge for me to start was believing in myself.
Mm.
Uh, believing in myself. I had to really sit back and think of what the life that I wanted to live. and I wanted to do something that made me happy, but also gave back to the communities around me, but also um was helpful is helpful to other Latina entrepreneurs. Um I think I might have messed this up. Can we go back?
Yeah, yeah.
What was
You
the
to the
question?
question of the concept, like who influenced you
My mom.
in your business? Your
Yeah.
mom. Like, was she the one that kind of was like, okay, Rose, what this is the first step you need to take, or this is what I think you should take. Like, where
No.
you
How
know where to go.
did I get there? That is a very interesting question. Um, what drove it? Can we come back to that question?
Yeah, yeah. Let's come back to it. I know sometimes as we're kind of talking through,
Yeah.
it's the one question or one thought triggers like the other. So, so yeah, so you were mentioning about your kind of like that your mom influenced you, and I know you were getting into the response around like the purpose of your business, because that is one thing that I wanted to address. Like the purpose, the mission of your business is like what I mentioned earlier, I feel is goes way beyond the candle itself and more about like what it represents. And so what kind of keeps you going in terms of like your inner purpose to keep your business, because it's not easy. I know it's not. You know, I know you get a lot of bumps like a lot of folks have. And so what do you how would you describe the mission and purpose of your business and what keeps you going?
What keeps me going is one of my favorite quotes. Is if you don't start, it's never going to happen.
Mm.
Um, I know that Baby Rose has always wanted to be bigger than Baby Rose. I wanted to serve a purpose in my life. And then I think through starting this business is kind of like how I'm finding my purpose of life in a sense.
Mhm.
Um what Amar Cole is, or I guess, how can I say this? Sorry. Um
So if you were to tell people like how does Amar candle make you feel? So like if I were to buy your product, I have one of your products. Actually, it smells beautiful.
no, thank you.
If like I were to buy your product, let's say, or someone out there listening were to buy your product, what would you want that person to like feel or experience because of that candle? Like what beyond, obviously it smells beautiful, but like, is there something more that you would want that candle to do for that person?
Yes. I would love um for someone to reference our candles as something that helps
Mm,
them
mm,
on a daily basis, that can be helpful on a daily basis. And what I mean by that is, so we are hormones.
mhm,
So we have serotonin and we have dopamine. um Personally, myself, I have very low dopamine levels, so I have to work a little extra hard, just a little extra hard, um to produce the dopamine for myself. And little things that we do throughout the day, or I guess you can say the little things that we do in life add up to a bigger picture.
mhm,
Just like in a business, we take
mhm,
little steps and we're building something, right? um so as I know that I have to just work a little bit harder. I have to, visit the gym, do a little things more of self-care for myself to get my dopamine levels higher, um just to be able to be in a better mood. And that's and it's just part of who I am. It's inherited. There's no one's to blame. But when you have a better like serotonin and dopamine in your body, it produces like a regulation of your mood.
mm,
um so for me, like, I love working from home. I really do. I love working from home, but because I can light a candle and
mm,
work, I
mm,
can. I can smell the fresh scent and maybe like a calming aroma on a really hectic day. Like I want people to smell the candle and just feel a relief.
Yeah.
Um, by either the scent, by either the sound, because we use crackling wood wicks.
Yeah.
That's like a soothing sound that some people like. If I'm reading a book, oh my god, that's one of my favorite things to do, you guys. Please turn on one of our candles by when you're reading a book, or even when you're drinking a glass of wine. It's just so relaxing. Like to me, I think it's just soothing to like have a candle lit up, to smell a good nice scent. And sometimes that even ties into memories. Like
Uh,
sometimes like and hopefully you guys can relate. Like we travel places, right? And certain smells relate to us, and
yeah.
the smells then give us back like those memories. Sometimes that's why sometimes when we smell things, they're like, oh, this reminds me of this, and I
Yeah.
find that so beautiful. I think it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. I'm so corny. I'm like, I think it's so beautiful because that's what candles are intended to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like candles are I want people to light their light up. Like please don't burn anything down, but like light a nice candle. Don't please don't, cause any problems or fires. Just light candles safely. We provide candle burning instructions with our candles as well. So please read those. Side note. um, but yes, I really our candles. I mean, because candles are used for so many things, right? They could be used for romance. And I love that. I love romance. I love to be loved because I'm a big ball of love. But there could also be used for celebrations.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. You could use them for decor. There's people who use them in ceremonies. So
Yeah.
there's just like so many different meanings to them. But I want my candles um to inspire others to follow their light. And you know um Amar means immortal or long life. And in order to do that, in order to be immortal, we have to be rememberable. And that means doing something different, um to change the world, to be immortal. And I feel like I would love to be immortal, even if it's just my candle business that
Mhm.
stays behind. But I hope that it fuels my Latino community.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I think that the smell, the scents just really bring us back to a certain memory in our childhood, or a certain evokes emotion. It
Hmm.
could be really healing if it's something where you're either in reflection or you're in quiet time or prayer, whatever it might be, with a candle. Or I think it definitely, and it serves a purpose. So if the lights go out, you have a candle to light, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think there's so much that that the candle can bring. And I think what's beautiful about what you're sharing is that it's you're sharing with us kind of beyond the product again. Like, and I think this is what people fall in love with, right? Is like the story of how, like, why this, right? It could have been shoes, or it could have been something else, right? And I feel like the more that we learn from women and the more we interview, like, we see past just the product itself, and we realize that there's so much purpose behind it, that there's so much intention behind it, and that it's also a personal story as much as it is a story that you want to relate to, like, your clients with, or your friends, right? The people that purchase the product or that you gift the product to. It's almost like it connects you. And I think candles have a way of doing that too. Like, it's to your point, it could be like, it's a romantic mood, or it's a, you know, celebration, or like, it's so part of like our day-to-day environment. It really is so like adaptable. Like, you can use candles anywhere and see them anywhere. But the fact that there's a story behind your candle business, to me, is what makes it even more just beautiful, and wanting to support you and wanting to support your business. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've heard many, many, many people speak to that as well. Like, you want that business to flourish just as much as you want the person behind the business. to flourish, right? And we connect with you as the business owner and as an entrepreneur too. So thank you for sharing the story behind the candle and the reason for and what you want people to feel when they purchase your product. So I mentioned earlier, and I like teased it a little, but now we're gonna dive a little bit more into it in terms of like some of the struggles that you have encountered as a business owner, right? And getting your business up and going, maintaining your business. It could be something that you're going through now or something that you went through before. But if you can just whatever you feel comfortable sharing in terms of some of the struggles or a struggle you had in your business and like how did you overcome it? Like what did you do to try to kind of, navigate that, whatever it was?
Okay, so I think for me, like one of my biggest struggles was connecting with my audience.
Mm,
Connecting with my audience, I felt like people, I think you kind of touched base on this too. I might piggyback a little bit, but people want to know the backstory.
mm,
They want to connect to you.
mhm,
Um, and I think I was a little bit intimidated
mhm.
um, by being
Yeah,
so vulnerable and just being that vulnerable makes me a little like it gives me a little bit of anxiety because
yeah,
you don't have control.
yeah.
Um, but again, this is for my growth, so I kind of tie that back to myself, and I'm like, hey, like imposter syndrome, like you're ready for this, you've prepped for this, like you've been you worked really hard to get here and you didn't even think it was even going to get here, and look at how far you come now. Maybe if you stick by just a little bit more and see who else can teach you a thing or two, find a mentor, like just doing it to push myself out of my comfort zone, because that's I like to see myself grow. And i I like being uncomfortable a little
Mhm.
bit, because I feel like that's when I feel like I'm growing.
Mhm.
Let me see. What else can I add to that?
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know sometimes it's hard to think about like the different, struggles that have come because they've either passed already or, we were able to overcome them. But I know that like what you're sharing is something that's well, it's vulnerable of you to share it. So thank you for saying that. And at the same time, I think like hearing you share your story today, like it's just it radiates off of you so like just flawlessly, right? So I think like you had mentioned, maybe it was getting past the mindset of like I don't want to, I don't know how, or but it's so natural for you. Like when you start talking about it, like I would never have guessed that that was one of the struggles that you had.
Oh,
And I think that that goes to show you too, like we don't know, we make kind of assumptions based on the things we know or based on things we don't know, right? And yet there's so much behind the business. There's so much that business owners, that Latina women specifically, entrepreneurs kind of have to navigate and deal with on behind the scenes that we just never see. And so that's why it's important to bring these things to life because it's people can hopefully start to what's the word is normalize it, right? Like it's not, oh, it's not just me, it's not just my situation. Like no, there's a lot of people that feel like that, and they don't know like where to start or they don't know where to go, right? And the more that it's talked about openly, the more it's empowering for other women to like be like, okay, yes, this is what I'm struggling with, like how can I find the solution or how can I find, how to get ahead or whatnot. So that is a very real struggle, and I know it's not always easy to share, so thank you for sharing that.
yeah, of course. And I think I guess I can add on to that. And one of the struggles that I kind of am still dealing with, I guess you can say, um, is finding the right products without over wasting money, over
Yeah.
spending money. It can be easy. I hand make my candles, you guys. But I like that personal touch personally. I like that. I craft every candle with intentional love and with
Mhm.
care. It's not made by a machine, you know.
Yeah.
Um, which, no judgment. Maybe I can have that one day, but right now I love crafting it. But I struggle with being indecisive because
Mm.
you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one thing that I feel like I struggled with was everyone's going to have an opinion about your business.
Mhm.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not going to like the opinion as other people have of your business. And that's okay. It's not about you have to kind of sit back and be like, what other people think has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Because it that's like that's what I've learned from life. Like I
Yeah.
can't control nobody. I can't control anybody else besides myself. I'm the
Mhm.
only one who could change. If I don't like the situation, I'm gonna change my perspective on it. I'm gonna sit back and really look back and be like, okay, or what is this moment trying to teach me? I try to just see the bigger picture, um, rather than just I don't know. I guess I don't even know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, no, no. It's okay. I think that's exactly it. Is you just there's definitely always going to be people with multiple opinions about anything and everything. And I think it makes it extra hard when you have a business, right? Because people are going to tell you every which way like, "Oh, have you tried this?" or "You should do that." And it comes from a good place most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? People want to help, people care about
Mm-hmm.
you. They want to see, but is that based on what is that based on, right? It's based on their idea or maybe something they saw, or sometimes it is based in personal experience. And I think that's where like the connection with other business owners is so important because they're going through those similar things too, so they're able to share like, oh yeah, I encountered this is how I handled it, and like, oh okay, let me try that. Or but everyone's going to have an opinion. What's the hardest probably, I don't know if you've encountered this, but the people with the strongest opinion are the people closest to us. Right? And so it's like when that happens, that makes it extra hard because you're right. Like you want to please them, or you want them to feel like yes, you contributed to, or if you don't like their idea, you're like, "Oh, I don't want to like hurt their feelings, or I don't want them to take it the wrong way." Like there's so much more to it than when you think about like a mass produced product in a department store where it's like the factory's pumping those things. They're not listening to your abuelita or your mom or your best friend or telling, like don't do it like that or do it like this, right? Like it's just going, going, going. It's a machine, right? But when it's a small business, when it's an entrepreneur that's like pouring themselves into it like you are, when you have those voices, it's like sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's hard. It's not helpful. It makes things hard. So I think that is a struggle that other women that we've heard other women share, and that definitely is like real. And so do you have any advice or consejos that you would want to share with women? It could be about this, but it doesn't have to be something else. Just in general, like any advice you want to give to women that are either thinking about starting a business or maybe just started their business? Like, what would be your like words of wisdom that you want to share with them?
Mujeres, believe in yourselves. Believe in yourselves and trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. Sometimes we feel like we don't know what we want, but the reality, it's in us. It's in us. We just kind of have to dig a little bit. Do it. You have to start somewhere. You don't have to start with 100 products. You do not. You could start with one
Mm-hmm.
and then be really, really good at it. And then slowly add on to it. Um, every, build a community. Like if you really want to start a business, like start building your community. I think that's very important too. But other than that, just really believe in yourself and ask for help. Ask for help because I personally, you'll hear me, I'll talk about Bellas all the time to my friends. I'll be like, you need to join Bellas. Did you sign up? And like, because I see the post, I'm a forward girl. I'm a forward it to you. It's going to direct messaging into your inbox because I know that I've already talked to you about it and you said you were interested. So hey, this is a great opportunity. And I think I just want people to know that there's resources out there for us. And I guess that ties into one of my struggles too, right? It's finding those resources,
Mhm.
like, and then really learning about business. I didn't go to school for business, so it's something that I'm learning as I'm going. But that's why I'm so thankful for Bayas as well, because I like taking these well, I'm going to redo one, you guys. I'm going to do their cohort, this upcoming cohort. But it's gonna just kind of give me a refresher, and also maybe even give me ideas. When to me, when people talk, I mean, I get all kinds of ideas. Like, I'm like, then I need a pencil, and my notebook's right here, you guys, because I'm pretty sure that I'm thinking about something. So it's like I'm trying to jot everything down, because sometimes we have conversations with others, and that like helps us. That like it triggers some things in our minds that sometimes other people's conversations about something else can help you in ways that you really didn't know that could be helped.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Keep learning, find a community, and believe in yourself.
Yes.
That's
I
definitely
love the way that you summarize that.
we're gonna include those in the caption there so people can. So if you didn't take notes, it's okay, everybody. Uh, well, thank you so much for this time. We just, I think you just coming and you could be anywhere else, but you decided to be here with us and sharing your story and taking us through your journey. And likewise, everybody that's on the other end of this listening, um, thank you for tuning in. And I know that your story, Rosemary, inspired so many, and sometimes we don't see it, we don't know about it, we don't hear it, right? But just know that it's definitely going to have a ripple effect and it's going to touch people's souls. And that folks that were maybe sitting listening to this are going to get up the next day and start their business and flourish. And so thank you so much for that. I think it's a beautiful thing to share your story. So thank you, thank you. And before we close, because we're at the end here, is anything you want to share with folks that maybe we didn't talk about tonight, or just let them know like how to connect with you, how to support your business.
Yes, please do. I have an Instagram. I also have a TikTok, but I'm not very active. I'll get better. But yes, please follow us at Amar Candle Co. Um, we're on Instagram. As I said, we are on TikTok, and I do have a website where you can check out our non-toxic products, which are also refillable. I know we didn't. It's at www.amarcandleco.com. Check us out. We love to light up your homes. And we hope that you love our candles just as much as we do. We craft them with all the love and pure intentions that we do have. And overall, we hope to see you come along with our journey. We want to, as we grow together, I'm really excited to see where the next step is for us. And I hope that you guys can be part of that journey with me.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much again for your time. Everybody for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Bye.
Adelante. Adios.